Hello and welcome. This is Monday the 5th or 6th of January, so Happy New Year. And I'm outside at the moment. I'm just sorting out the bins because we have the bins come. Bin man comes tomorrow. We've had our first snow. We did have snow over the weekend. It was just on the long mountain behind me and on the hills all around, but we didn't actually have any down here, so this was our first snow last night. And so I've got to fetch in logs for the wood burner. I've put the rubbish out ready for the bin man. I've taken all the decorations down. I've just got to take the tree down and the lights off it. That's probably the worst part actually, but all the baubles and things have been put away. I've still got the lights to take down outside here, but I'm not going to do that until tomorrow probably. They're battery powered and they've been playing up a bit. They come on for 6 hours and flash, but I wasn't able to change the flashing patterns, and then they went off and then they've not been coming back on next day. I have to come out and manually put them on. So I recharged the batteries and put them back in yesterday, switched on. So I'm just going to see if they come on tonight at 4 o'clock. If they don't, I think it's time to send them to the recycling, because they're no good if I've got to keep coming out at 4 o'clock every evening to switch them on. I bought new lights earlier, just before Christmas. There was some on at a good price in Aldi actually, and they're multicoloured ones, so they will go across here next year, and they're electric, so I'll be able to put them into the mains and put them on a timer, which will be easier. Well, I think they've got a timer in them anyway, but at least they'll be better than these battery ones. So I've got bird feeders to fill up. I've got all the greenery that I had in the house. I'm going to come out and sort out, put in the bag ready. I've got a bag down here which I'm slowly filling up with stuff to go to the recycling centre, garden waste. So I shall put all the bits of holly and the berries and stuff all in there. What else have I got to do? Fill the bird feeders, done the bins, got the Christmas tree and lights to take down. I am going to go for a walk as well. I'll just do the bird feeders first. It is very cold though. My hands are freezing, so yeah. It'll be a nice bracing walk, and it's a beautiful day. The sun's shining. It's about 2:30 in the afternoon, so the sun has sort of melted some of the snow. So this is a little scarf I knit, which is called The Simple Thing, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's very similar to the Sophie scarf, but a little bit bigger. And then I've also knit my hat. Can't remember what the pattern is, but I will talk about them more when I do my sewing and knitting makes of 2025. Anyway, let's get on and get these birds fed and then get off on my walk. It's very pretty down here. Canal's frozen over. Just out for a walk along the towpath, and the canal is frozen. Got a little scattering of snow on it. It's probably getting a bit late now because the sun's starting to get a bit low. It's probably going on for 3 o'clock, so and I've got to go back and get all the lights off the Christmas tree and take the Christmas tree down, fold it up and try and get it to go back in its box, which is quite a feat. Why is it they never fit back into their boxes? Oh, it's a beautiful afternoon, but it's very cold. Very cold indeed. Well, hello and welcome to the messy sewing room. It's still a terrible mess. So today I'm going to get on with this Simplicity 9809. I'm going to make this version, but I'm not putting in the lace inserts, and it's a stand-up collar, so I'm going to put a frill around the collar and on the cuffs, and I'm making it in this white no, off-white cotton lawn. Now I cut this out back in March 2025, so it's been sitting here waiting months to be made up. And I've also got over here, I've cut out a pair of pyjamas at the same time, so let's just show you the fabric in this blue and white spotty fabric, so I've got to crack on and get those done as well before I cut out anything else, because I really need to make some new skirts. So I want to get these two things done because I hate having unfinished projects sitting around. Get these done and then crack on with some new skirts. I've got loads of fabric waiting to be used. I'm also, actually, I was watching, is it Gina Seams yesterday? And she was making up, it's a current pattern, but she made herself a beautiful blouse with this sort of V shaping, but it got a frill. And the top on this pattern, it's lace, but she'd made it in a Liberty fabric and the actual insert was in the same fabric, and it didn't have a stand-up collar. She just put a little stand-up frill gathered collar in there instead. And I'm thinking, well, I've got this pattern, so I think probably I could somehow or other work out how to cut a frill to put in there. It was so pretty, and it was in a lovely Liberty. Again, I've got loads of fabric in the stash, so just having a look actually. When was this pattern from? This is from 1980. So yes, we are back in the 80s. But to be honest, quite a lot of the stuff I've seen this last summer, all the dresses with the dropped waist, the basque waists or the dropped V-shaped waist, very popular in the 80s. I remember, and the early 90s, because I made bridesmaid dresses for both my sisters, and they'd all got those dropped waists, and they got married very early 90s. And I remember making these dresses in the early 80s, and in fact I've just managed to snag a pattern I had back. Let me just show you. I still got it out if I put it away. Here it is. This has come all the way from Canada, but I saw it and the postage costs were not too extravagant. I used to have this pattern and I made this dress up in a lovely Laura Ashley fabric. And I've been hunting for this for the last 2-3 years. And so I finally found one on Etsy. As I said, it's had to come from Canada. But I made it, it was a floral fabric, a blue background and floral fabric. And it's got this sort of slightly curved drop waist, but the skirt is pleated into it. And it was quite a heavy fabric, and it just hung beautifully. So I've been desperate to get hold of one of these and have another go. Although I think I might actually put a sleeve into it, possibly. I'm not sure. Not sure about sleeveless. And it's also roulette loops and buttons up the back, so I'll be putting a zip in to get in and out of it easily. Yeah, so I'm absolutely delighted to get hold of that. And again, when's this pattern from? I think I made it back in late 80s, early 90s, 1988. Anyway, I've got a blouse to get on with, so speak soon. This is the Montgomery Canal. Come down the lanes for a walk today instead of along the Gilsfield Canal because the towpath is very muddy and slithery, so I've just come down the lanes just to come see how things are looking here at the Monty. There's a lot of water going through that sluice there, and it then goes on beyond down to the clay pits, which is nature reserve, which is in the distance there. You can see a lot of water. There's 2-3 large pools. It's like a serpentine pool. Yeah, and this is where the aqueduct starts, really, because the ground on either side of here now is a lot lower than the actual canal. Although it looks quite full again, which is probably because of all the snow that's melted. Let's cross over this bridge. can go back up the towpath here, and then the Gilsfield Canal is where that White House is there at the back of there, so it goes back up towards Gilsfield in that direction, and then it joins this one just a bit further up here around the corner. So this is the amaryllis that I planted in early December, and which hasn't moved for virtually the whole of that time until about a week ago, and suddenly 2 buds have started to sprout out. So I'm pleased that's coming. And these are the paper whites that I planted around about the 14th of December. And in fact, one's flowering, and there's quite a lot more buds coming. They've grown really tall. So there are 5 bulbs in this pot, and they're coming on nicely.